I helped a telehealth company go from zero to $100 million in revenue, and they did this in less than 10 months of launching. Additionally, I've helped 4 other telehealth clinics get to $1 million per month in revenue, passing the 8-figure run rate. And over the last 3 years, I've consulted on well over 50 telehealth businesses, some of them with as many as over 300,000 patient signups. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything that you need to build an 8 or 9-figure telehealth business. I get hit up all the time by people wanting to work with me. To give you some numbers, we accept less than 3% of the applicants, and I get hit up by over 100 a month of businesses applying to work with us. So I see everything that works and that doesn't work. And we've been behind some of the most successful campaigns, creatives, and launches there is. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything. Most people, they think that you need a lot of capital, that you need an extensive provider network, all these NPs and doctors on salary, that I need to be LegitScript, or does my agency need to be LegitScript? Does my providers need to be LegitScript? Is there a 90-day learning phase? There's a lot of questions that I get, and I'm going to put all of that to rest. There's 9 total things that you need in order to start seeing patients and start scaling very aggressively. Once you have these 9 things in place, the unlock is there and you're able to scale very rapidly, as we've done with many of the clients that we've worked with. So let's dive right into all the things that you need in order to start making money and position yourself for that 8 or 9-figure run rate. Now, by no means is that an income claim that you will make that money. I don't know you at all. I don't even know what type of infrastructure or capital you have in place. I'm just telling you what has worked and what we've done in the past with these clients that have hit those revenue numbers. So the first thing, do you go async or sync? For those people that have never heard this term, asynchronous, your traditional e-commerce website, when you go to Amazon and you purchase something, that's done asynchronously. You don't need to meet with a salesperson. Synchronous, this is your traditional brick and mortar. You walk in, you get a visit with a doctor, they sit down, they prescribe something if they see it necessary, and then you pay. That's your synchronous. It has to be one-to-one in order for a transaction to occur. If you want to get to that $100 million range, you absolutely have to be asynchronous. Go look up all the big players. You need to be able to build systems that allow you to scale. We don't like to work with businesses that aren't async. It's not that I won't. Async business, it's a full marketing organization. I know that if I get all the things that I do, I'm going to show you in this video, if I check all those boxes, I'm going to make them money. Like, the probability of us succeeding is very high. Now, markets can change. There's a lot of factors at play, but all the steps that I'm going to cover in this video, start to finish, you're going to make a lot of money in this space. But what happens is generally it's like one or many of these things aren't in place, or the business is synchronous, meaning they're not a marketing organization. They're a sales and marketing organization. So that's the difference with, a sync versus async business. You want to be asynchronous. You want to just be able to scale aggressively. You want to be 100% a marketing organization. That's what these big companies are, and that's how you're going to scale. It's very simple. Once you have these things in place, you're now looking at marketing problems. You're solving actual marketing problems, and your marketing organization can be held, or marketing personnel can be held 100% accountable for those results. But if you're synchronous, meaning schedule an appointment, and then we do the transaction after they meet with somebody or do an appointment with somebody, there's more challenges. Your sales and marketing. So marketing can get them there. Marketing can get the appointments. Marketing can get people to show. But at the end of the day, if they don't show to those appointments, if your people that are going to those appointments don't know enough about your product, don't know enough about the patient, don't know how to convert sales, you're going to have sales problems and systems problems. So go async. That's the number one thing that you need to do. Async is where all the $100 million businesses have done. I've never seen one that was synchronous. So that is the first thing. There's those 2 types of business models. You want to go async. Once you go async, it's very simple. Number 2 is you are a marketing organization. You now are in a position to solve nothing but marketing problems. So as a marketing organization, you need to invest heavily into marketing. You need the best content. You need the best systems. You need the best strategies. There's a lot, and I'm not going to go into that too much in this section, but you're a marketing organization. You're not a clinic. You're not a telehealth business. You have to think like a marketer. marketer. And if you think like a marketer, you're going to do very well. I've actually witnessed companies go from 0 to 100 million. They were marketers first. Like the founders were actually ran marketing organizations. So when they saw somebody like myself, they're like, yeah, I'm going to give you percentage, or I need you to do these things. And they put the right people in place. What I see most common is in the failing organizations. And again, I've talked to hundreds of people wanting to get into this space. Most of them I don't work with because they don't have these things in place. But what happens is they think like doctors. They move very slow. They don't think like marketing business people. One of the clients, or I'm sorry, not one of the clients, one of the businesses that I have done some consulting on, they've spent over 2 years and over $100,000 out of pocket to get 0 patients, 0 signups, and not even prove the concept. They moved so slow. They thought in like a doctor, and it was just disastrous. I don't even want to be in seeing that and just consulting here and there. They then reach out to me, hey, do you want to do marketing? I'm like,
I don't even want to do marketing for your business. Like,
the way you guys have moved is so slow and so wrong and so backwards. You guys didn't listen to anything that I said. And now you're stuck and you were desperate. Now you want to hire me because you did all the things that I said not to do. And you wanted to go your route, which was a doctor ran organization. These were doctors that were running this. It's something that I see a lot. So the businesses that are winning, they understand how speed is everything. If I was going to get started on something that's unproven, meaning like something that isn't big, like GLP-1s, that's proven. You don't need to prove the concept for GLP-1s, for hormones, for some of these peptides. But if you're trying to launch like a new prescription or new subscription model that doesn't exist, you want to prove the concept first. So go 0 to 1, spin up a landing page, spin up some ads, run some traffic, see if people will buy, and then just refund all those people money versus like trying to get the provider network right, get all these other things right, get the website done, get all this custom coded, and then 6 months, 12 months out, you haven't even seen a single patient, you haven't done anything yet. You could have paid somebody like me to build and generate money for your business in like less than 30 days. We could have had success and we could have been in a position to like actually start making decisions. So you want to think like a marketer. You are a marketing organization, and marketing's job is to drive traffic and convert that traffic, and then take that converted traffic and convert them more, get them more sticky. So generally when people hire us, they have all of these things in place. I will consult on these businesses to help them get these things in place if they don't need that. So if that's you, if you're watching this and you need some help, reach out to me. I'm going to be very direct. Like generally how I structure it is I'll hop on a call. I'll see where you're at. I'm not
going to sell somebody just because I can sell them.
I want to provide value. So whether that's I tell you, hey, look, hire me as a consultant. I charge this much per hour, generally $1,000 an hour. And then depending on the structure and involvement, sometimes I'll apply that toward a package in working with us if we decide to go that route. But I want to cover my time. Like I can provide insane amount of value to you. And if you continue watching this video, I think you'll learn probably a lot more than what your marketing agency, your telehealth provider network or pharmacy network is telling you. That's the main reason actually why I put this video together, is because, and I know I'm just going off on a tangent, but I get literally hit up by 100+ businesses a month, and they say, my marketing agency told me this, or my telehealth provider told me this, or, they told me this. And like, it's
frustrating. It's going to save me time by just putting all that out there.
And then I hope it saves you time too, so that you save time and money, because you would not believe how many people have thrown hundreds of thousands of dollars down the drain because they've listened to the wrong people and they've been guided by people who have their own interests in mind. I structure my deals in rev share deals. So my interest is the business's success. That's what I care about. Number 3, aside from being a marketing organization, the third component of this is there's 3 parts to the business. Piece number 1, you have your front end. Piece number 2, you have your provider network. And then number 3, you have your pharmacy network. The front end, what is that? That is going to be your website. It's also going to be your content and your ads, your content, and then your posts. I would consider this part of like any organic post, any influencers you might be working with. That's going to be your front end. Then you've got the provider network. So this is going to be the doctors, the NPs, the physicians, whoever is signing off on. The key responsibility is prescribing. That's going to be the key function. The key function of your front end is going to be conversions. So this is going to be like getting patient signups. That's the most important thing of the front end, is driving conversions. The provider network, the most important thing is prescribing. And then the pharmacy network, this is going to be, sometimes it can include your 3PL, third-party logistics. It's going to include the manufacturers. And then this is going to be a network, a statewide network, depending on where your licenses are, what states you're shipping to. And then the main purpose and function of this is going to be profitability. The 3 parts of that business. Now, the importance of your front end, I think a lot of of businesses, a lot of people, they get this wrong. They don't like value. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they don't value a good website. They're trying to do it on budget mode. But if you're trying to invest like $20,000 to start a telehealth business, like I'm just going to tell you right now, just stop. Like there's no chance you're going to do that. You're just wasting money.
I would go find somebody else who's going to put $20,000 in. Now you got $40,000. Go 50-50. You have a higher likelihood of success.
Build out the foundation and go find investors. These aren't cheap businesses to start. You know, when I do the financial numbers on these businesses, generally we're modeling out no less than 6 figures into these campaigns. And generally that's within less than like a 90 days. I have single businesses, you know, they tell me their goals. I'm like, okay, this is going to be $100,000 in ad spend to get started, plus content, other things that are going to be required to spend that $100,000. You are competing with businesses like Hims. They have a $50 million per month marketing budget. You have to invest in that. So the front end is very important, because when you're asking somebody from the internet who doesn't know you to trust you, to order a product from you for hundreds of dollars, possibly thousands of dollars, and then inject that into their body, they could die. Like literally, that's how serious this is. You have to have a website, a front end, so the website and the content that looks like you're trustworthy. You know, if you have some shitty rinky-dink website that's built by your friend or built by some cheap VA you paid $500, $2,000 for, good luck. You're not going to win. You're not going to be able to convert. Again, the most important thing right here, conversions. This is the whole purpose of your front end, to drive conversions. So you need content that does that. You need a website that looks good. Go look up Hims. Go look up Try Eden. Eden was one of our was our client that we helped get to $100 million in revenue. They did that in less than 10 months. Go look up these companies. If your website doesn't look like that, good luck driving conversions. Like you have to have a legit website that says we're quality, we're trustworthy. That's number one thing. Then the provider network. You don't need to have a bunch of doctors on staff. You can get these white label networks for like a couple $1,000s a month. Does it eat into your profit? Yeah. Do they have certain fees? Yes. But it's much cheaper than hiring all these doctors on staff and building out the technology yourself and trying to get everything integrated. Just get this started. Start generating the cash flow. Start generating the patients. And then you can always move them over to something customized or built, or you can hire your own doctors, you know, once you have that. But prove the concept first. Like show that you can go 0 to 1. It's what I see is most of these telehealth businesses, they fail in the 0 phase. You have to go 0 to 1 in telehealth, which is I have an idea. I'm successfully and profitably acquiring patients. If you can't do that, you've never gotten to 1. And most businesses, they fail on the path to 1. They hire marketing agencies. They start spending on ads. They skip all these steps. They don't have the provider network dialed in. They don't have the right pharmacy network. They don't attribute anything. They run into all these problems and they never get to 1. They never get to this point where, okay, this is working. I run ads. I got to sign up. Now I have a patient. I can nurture them. I can communicate with them, and I can do this again. But again, there's a lot of things that need to be in place. So there's those 9 things that we're covering in this video. Right now, all we've covered is the first 3. So if you have these 9 things in place, you can scale very aggressively. Eden, they got over 1,200 patient signups in a single day. These are the things that you need to do those kinds of numbers. So number 4, before I dive into number 4, if you need me to build these out for you to help consult on you, knock out the application below or send me a DM. I will hop on a call with you. I'll give you 30 minutes of my time if I see fit, and you can, text me and give me enough information.
And I'm the person that's answering these, because again, I don't want to work with everybody. I don't want 100 clients.
I want 5 to 10 high-level clients. My goal this year is to get 10 clients to $1 million per month in the telehealth space, and that's the run rate. So I'm not looking for everybody. I want to make sure it's the right fit.
I've hung up calls on people because they were rude and continued interrupting me and didn't listen to me. I'm like, look,
you should be paying me for your time, and instead you're wasting this time asking all these questions. I'm like, please be professional. If you continue interrupting me when I'm answering your questions and trying to tell you what to do,
I'm just going to hang up this conversation and it's going to be over, and I'm never going to do business with you. So
I do ask you to be ready to go, to be professional, to value my time, because, I've spent years building this, literally years, over $1 million out of pocket, hiring people, paying for things, learning things, masterminds, a lot of it. So if you want to get that information, you want to know what to do, be ready to move forward, and we can help you. I can consult. I do a build and release offer where I can build all this stuff out for you, release it over to you, and train you how to do it. And then, the rev share, the fractional CMO, those are the businesses that are very invasive. I'm very involved in. I go through everything with them.
Those ones, I'm really selective of who I work with. So
I've got my coaching program. I'll coach you how to do it. I've got my build and release. We'll build it out, release it to you, coach you how to run it. And then I've got my done for you you. So knock out the application below and let's dive right back into this. So number 4, subscriptions are great. Profitability is better. Everybody wants to get subscriptions, and I'm not saying don't get subscriptions. You don't want that. That's going to be great cash flow. But again, you're competing with businesses that are spending $50 million per month on these platforms. You can burn through cash very fast if you're not profitable. So you want to focus on high AOVs. This means you're going to profit sooner. Right now, and this is going to change, weight loss season is about to go into effect, but industry standard about $450 to acquire a weight loss GLP-1 patient. That means if you're getting a patient for $450, they pay $200 for the medication. Let's assume you have a $50 cost of goods sold for that, and they stay with you on average of like 6 to 12 months. So that means every month you're making $100 off of them. Well, you have to keep them for 4.5 months to break even on them. Is it more risky to focus on those subscriptions and hope that they stay 4.5 months with you, or is it better to focus on profitability, meaning I want to go after a different person or different product, meaning I want to sell a 6-month possibly or an annual plan, and now I can profit off of that one order from them. So that's what I mean. That's what we get hired for. We help figure out ways to increase the AOV. On average, we see over a 200% improvement. The average order value of the businesses that we take over, we see significant improvements in the LTV, the lifetime value. And a lot of this has to do with the offer, the messaging, the front end content, which we own that result. Aside from the, subscriptions are great, profitability is better, high AOVs equal profit sooner. You want to be at a 50% margin or greater. You're not going to be able to scale with paid ads if you don't have at least a $50 margin. So you need to know the cost of goods sold. So how much is the semaglutide? Are you getting it for $20 and you're paying $40 for shipping? That's a $60 cost of goods sold. So at a $60, realistically, you could probably sell it for as low as $120. Now, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm all for being more expensive, finding out ways to make more money. That's what I'm about. If you watch my videos and go watch those, you'll understand like we're all about being the most expensive and figuring out how to have better marketing so you can be more expensive and profit more. So you need at least a 50% margin or greater. Don't underprice yourself and think that you're going to outcompete everybody. A race to the bottom is not better for success. And then you want to have multiple SKUs. Can you go with just one SKU? Yes, but you have to be very good at marketing. You have to have a very good offer, and you're going to want to have a plan in place to rapidly expand additional SKUs. Maybe you might start with GLP-1s and have some Morlin, NAD+. You might have some other products that are cross-sellable because we're going to be driving a lot of traffic. If we can convert, 3 to 5% of those people that go into some of these other offers, that all these little percentage points, they add up very quickly. So number 5, content is key. Again, back to the 3 main components. I consider the front end, not just your website, but also the content and messaging that's driving people to your front end. That's the first touch. They don't even know what your website looks like. So your ad, your content needs to be very high quality. It needs to speak directly to the consumer. For example, if you're, New Year's resolutions around the corner, if you're looking to lose weight, we can help you. Versus like this, something like this, where we put an influencer or content creator, let's assume like 45-year-old woman, she is struggling to lose weight. She's hit, she's going through menopause, something that says this New Year's resolution. And if you've been struggling with menopause, wanting to put that dress on that you used to like, that's out of the closet. I found a clinic, xyzclinic.com. I was struggling just like you to get into my favorite dress until I got on GLP-1s, right? That message speaks directly to somebody. So the content and the messaging are going to be very, very important for you to get in front of those audiences. Content is the targeting now. We lean very heavy into UGC. We lean heavy into influencer marketing. We've contracted over 1,000 influencers just for weight loss clinics, and we've helped some clinics scale to 7 figures. Most all of our clients that got to 7-figure run rates or higher, actually every single one of them had influencer marketing strategies built in, which we managed all of that. So we have to build that social proof because again, these are prescriptions. You're asking somebody who's never heard of you to trust you, not just to give you money, but now to trust that this thing that I'm shipping you, that I'm asking you to inject in your body is safe. And having having an influencer who has done it and documented that journey and has been getting products, it just builds so much social proof, and it helps your ads, your marketing, your website, everything just converts better. It's also great for influencer marketing, is great like clinical data. You can use this to get real clinical data that you can now claim in your marketing. So this is going to be huge. Compliance is very important. So what claims you make are going to determine if you're compliant or not. Now you have this clinical data where you can make certain claims that you wouldn't have been able to make without it. Number 6, you need a good digital strategy. You're going to need Meta, which is Instagram and Facebook, and you're going to need Google. Don't even consider anything else until you've done these. Don't consider TikTok, Snapchat, any of these. Can you make money on those? Yeah, but you need the foundation. Meta has 3.35 billion daily active users. Half the planet uses Meta every single day. Same thing with Google. Google has massive amounts of people. Crack those first. You're going to have a better time. You're going to get so much data. You're going to go so much faster. All these other things can act as shiny objects, and you might not be driving true results and true data back to your business, which is what you need. You need accurate data to make informed decisions. Again, you're a marketing organization. Marketing is very simple. It's math. You look at numbers, and then based off the numbers, you make decisions. And then those decisions generate different numbers. And then those numbers you look at and you say, did these give us the improvements that we wanted? Are these numbers better than what we were getting? If yes, continue doing that. If no, back to the drawing boards. What else do we need to do? And you repeat that process across hundreds of different instances, from your click-through rate on your ads, your copy, your headlines, your landing page, your pricing, your offer. You're just doing all of these split tests and ensuring that each test yields better results. So
it's very simple. That's why I love being in the async space.
I own the result end to end. Let's go. Let's make some money. We have the website, we got the content, we got the offer, we got the pricing. Now let's just start spending money and let's scale. So the digital strategy is very important. You need somebody. I would not hire a single marketer or agency that hasn't spent at least $1 million per month on these platforms. We have, most agencies, not to bash or diminish them, they
haven't worked with any big players. Like, we've been lucky. It fell in my lap. I'm not gonna
try to act like I had this massive strategy or idea. Semaglutide fell in my lap over 3 years ago, and we just happened to be the first people to start marketing it. I was relatively lucky in how it all came to be, but I do work very hard to learn and master these things as well. So we got lucky. We got some of these big players, and they were spending over $1 million a month on Facebook, on Google. Some of our top strategists and content creators, they're behind some of the largest telehealth brands. Blue Chew, they spend over $3 million a month on Meta ads, and we have, just a proven track record. So we know what it takes to work with these big brands. I'm just telling you what that is so that either you can do it right, not work with me, or you can do it right and decide to work with me and hire me. I just want to see people doing it right, because I hate hearing
all these conversations and having all these conversations with people that say, Daniel, I was told this by a marketing agency, or I was told this, my telehealth provider network. There's just a lot of misinformation. So
the digital strategy, very important. You need somebody that's done what you're trying to do, which is scale a brand, telehealth specific brand to this space, or to this level. Once you have the right digital strategy, you're going to need attribution. There's a few different platforms that you can choose. I don't care which one you choose. We don't care when we go to work with businesses, but you're going to want to go with Hyros, Triplewell, Northbeam. Those are some of the big ones. Wicked. Anyone that can attribute the entire journey. So remember, we said there's 3 main components to 3 parts to the business here. You need to be able to, I'll show you. So if you have ad 1, ad 2, ad 3, they're all running to the same landing page. And we've driven, let's say, thousands of people there now, and we see all these ads are going to the landing page. Now, when we look at the orders, we can see ad 1 had an AOV of $199. Ad 2 had an AOV of $799, and ad 3 had an AOV of $469. Now I can see what happened, but in order for that to happen, I had to track the ad to which prescription they clicked on and signed up for, to then it firing to the pharmacy, and I need to track all of that data. So which ad did they click on? Which influencer post did they click on? What landing page did they go to? Did they buy the monthly or the annual?
I need to track that entire journey, and I need it to fire properly to the provider network, and I need it to fire properly to the pharmacy network. network. This is a very time-intensive step.
We do this. We don't even start spending until we do this. You would not be surprised how many clients I've taken on. They were like, we already spent $20,000. We already spent $100,000 on ads. And I'm like, man, how are you guys getting these kinds of numbers? Like that sucks. I'm in pain for you guys. And then we start working with them. We find out they didn't have any attribution set up. They hired some agency that's just guessing, because now the agency without the attribution, they're guessing. And what they're going to see is that, oh, ad 2 right here was driving the highest AOV, right? This was the money maker, ad number 2. Well, this one's driving the most average order value. And what they're going to see is ad 1, the cost of acquisition, we'll say is like $2.99. And then ad 2, the one with the higher average order value, has a CAC, and these are just made up numbers. I'm just doing this for reference for you guys. Might have a cost of acquisition of $3.59. And then ad 3, let's say $4.01. So now what they're going to do is they're going to look at this, which the data is not accurate. They're going to cut that. And because they weren't tracking everything, now what's going to happen is their profitability is going to tank, because they're spending $2.99 to acquire a patient that gives them $199. This is why you need those in place. And then aside from attribution, you're going to need a scaling strategy. You're going to have to not just scale your ad spend, but you're going to have to scale your SMS, your emails, all your sequences. As you scale spend, everything else needs to scale. Content. Do you have the systems in place? Does your agency have the systems to build content at scale for you? Those are the things that you need in place for the digital strategy to work. Then number 7, compliance. This is one of the biggest things that I see people do wrong. One, they hire agencies that are doing uncompliant things. I'll call it agencies that are retarded. They're doing, I guarantee you're going to make this much money. I guarantee you're going to get this XYZ thing. All these guarantees are, first of all, not compliant. So they're doing things that are not compliant, that they could get popped by the FTC by. So if this agency who's doing all these retarded things to get you to click on them, like, what do you think they're going to do for your business? You're going to be the one that gets hit with that lawsuit. You're going to be the one that gets hit with the cease and desist letter. So you need to be compliant in everything that you do. Additionally, you need LegitScript. Any prescription you are selling, you need LegitScript. There's agencies, for some reason, I hear this all the time. There's an agency that says, oh no, we're LegitScript. You can write off of our LegitScript. No, they're not. Facebook, now, do you need LegitScript to be compliant? All these guarantees are, first of all, not compliant. So they're doing things that are not compliant. Google with Facebook, and Google and Facebook, they don't care if your pharmacy's LegitScript. They don't care if your doctors are LegitScript. They don't care if your agency's LegitScript. They only care about one thing being LegitScript, your website. So whatever website we're going to be driving traffic to, it has to be LegitScript. It takes about 4 to 8 weeks. Pay the expedited fee. Total, it's about $6,500. You factor that in with your website, which is about 10 to 20 grand for a good website. Now you have the provider network. Now you have the front end. Now you have the LegitScript. Now you're almost ready to start spending. What else do you need? Well, guess what? You need number 8, which is a CRM. This is where you're going to manage all the leads. This is where you're going to do your SMS sendouts. You're going to do your emails. This is where you're going to do your add to cart. So if somebody adds to cart, how do I email them to sign back up? Hey, saw you didn't complete your purchase. This is going to be your partials for the intake form. This also could be your system for your provider network, depending on how it's done. The largest telehealth brand that I've worked with, they do all of theirs on Go High Level. Go High Level is a great platform. It's HIPAA compliant, perfect for what you're doing. And then this is how you're going to do your upsells and your cross sells. You're going to manage all of this through your CRM. You also might have the intake forms. You need a good CRM. We've spent over $20 million in this space building out our automation CRM. We know what works. So we can build that out for you again and release it to you. If you want an internal marketing team, you need somebody who can accelerate that process, shave months and hundreds of thousands of dollars in expensive learning lessons off to do it right. I can help build your team out for you. And then now you have everything. So you got the CRM to nurture the leads. On average, we see about 5 to 10% lead conversion in the GLP-1 space. You've got the CRM to nurture them. You're compliant. You didn't hire a retarded agency. You're LegitScript. Now you have the proper digital strategy in place. You have all the attribution in place. place. You have the right content and messaging. You have the right upsell and offer strategy to increase your AOV. You've got the three main components of your business, your front end, you've got your provider network, and you got your pharmacy network to where you can handle 1,000 subscriptions in a day or 1,000 signups in a day. And you decided I'm going to go asynchronously, the way to do it. Now you are ready to go 0 to 1. You can now hire me to flex my muscles as a marketer and show you what we do, which is create content, run the ads, scale the business. But these are the things that you need in place in order to really scale. And if you need somebody to do this for you and build all of this out for you, you need somebody done for you. I am looking for the right strategic partners.
I come on as a performance partner. I get paid when you hit certain numbers.
So we can do it that way. I operate as a fractional CMO. I've hired and vetted the best people on my team. They're all incentivized in the growth of the businesses too. So the best Google strategists, Facebook strategists, content strategists, content creators. We have hundreds of creators under our roster. So we're able to really accelerate the growth of your business. Additionally, I can build it out and release it to you, whether it's the CRM, the funnel, the landing pages, the content.
And then I can obviously train you and coach you on how to do this yourself.
Knock out the application below. If you got any value from this, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. It means the world to me. Thanks so much.